Several years ago, I saw at a museum an apothecary, a 19th century basic little apothecary. And I thought it was very interesting because it didn't look like the type of apothecaries I had seen before in my museum work. So I wanted to replicate it for myself. Of course, all I could do was take a little drawing of it after I had been there. I wasn't able to take photography. So what I came up with was this. This is sort of based on that idea. Now, the apothecary that I had seen was much smaller. In fact, this book here was probably about the size of the books that were in the piece. But, like this, it had two compartments, a top, and actually this section was sort of a shelf. And it could have been that it was a drawer once upon a time, the drawer was lost, or it had been meant to be a shelf all along. It's hard to tell. So, I went ahead and built it. Now, mine is a little larger because I had to accommodate not only the size of the books I wanted to put in, but also the items that I wanted to keep inside. So in addition to woodworking, I also do painting and puzzling. And so what this is an apothecary puzzle cabinet. It is a sequential discovery puzzle. As you move through it, there's a certain sequence in which you must follow, and as you go through it, you will find tools or keys that will help you get to the end of the puzzle. And I'll explain it as I go through and demonstrate it to you. Additionally, the puzzle cabinet is made primarily of poplar wood. I do have some birch plywood in here. There is some pine, there might be some oak in here, but primarily this was made out of half-inch poplar with other components thrown in as well. There's some metal in here, things that I had to do to make some of the components for some of the openings. The first thing we have to do is get in here. How do we get in here? There's two doors. We have a keyhole. There's nothing over here. Nothing moves. Nothing does anything. So first thing we have to do is take the books out. Then, reach up under here. There's actually a hole here. This is a drawer, a hidden drawer. This is the first key, the first sequential tool. The components of this are hard to show, but there's actually dowels holding some of this together. And so the key, which is a brass rod, actually pushes two of the dowels. This opens up the cabinet. There's a small well in here that holds flat puzzles, like some of the John Claude Constantine puzzles, Double Trouble, Bon, things like the 20-cent puzzle is kept up here, Triangle Trick Box. These things are flat enough that they can actually fit in this space. Now, while we're doing the sequential discovery puzzle, there's also a second puzzle going on at the same time, and that is a painting puzzle. Throughout this apothecary, there are 4 paintings which are based on lessons that I took from 4 different instructors. Because I'm a beginner painter, I thought I would go ahead and do lessons rather than original art. So this piece is actually a Bob Ross. It's Autumn Fantasy. From one of his TV shows, and it's mountains with a lake. But up here in the upper right corner, we'll zoom in on this, there's a windmill. And so the goal of going through here is, at this point you see the windmill from a distance, but eventually you'll be right up at the windmill. And so as you go through the puzzle, you'll see some paintings that show the windmill getting closer until you finally get to it. So the next thing to do is actually a key down here. Pull this key up, the door opens. Inside we have some puzzle boxes and Hanayama puzzles as well. take all the puzzle boxes and puzzles out. One of the puzzle boxes will actually hold the next key. You use the next key to get through the next obstruction, which in this case is down here. This pulls out a miniature desk bookcase. The inside of the bookcase part actually has Hanayama puzzles. That's given me some extra room. Also, if I'm doing a puzzle and like a burr puzzle or something, and I have a bunch of pieces, I can actually keep those in the bottom of this, which is very helpful. The reverse of this piece is another painting. This is a Frank Clark acrylic tutorial. And just like Autumn Fantasy, the painting above it, this one I also incorporated that windmill into. That was not part of the original lesson. An additional item that's kept in here is this little knob with a magnet on it. We will use this later, so we put it to the side. So once the desk bookcase had come out, then you reach back in here, and there's a puzzle box in a hidden compartment. Out of the puzzle box, we have a key. And the key is what we need for this keyhole. And so we open the second compartment. And the second compartment has more puzzle boxes, more Hanayama puzzles, and one of these will hold the next tool to continue with our journey, because we're not done yet. So, once the items have come out of the drawer, out of the compartment, and we need the knob that we pulled out earlier, that fits up here and just stays there for a while. So one of the puzzle boxes that came out of this compartment had a set of keys. Those keys go to a panel that's actually located back here. You can see the lock. Okay, the panel comes out. We have another painting. This painting is actually an original of mine. It's done in gouache on wood, on an acrylic gesso. It's done sort of in the style of James Gurney, where you do sort of a color and practice type thing. You put a color down first, and then you apply darker colors first, and then lighter colors mixed with a white gouache. This was very much in the beginning of my James Gurney following. I've improved much since then with his concept and with the color and practice ideas. So back behind the panel is secret compartment. It has 3 drawers, has puzzle boxes, as well as some larger Hanayama puzzles that don't fit other places. Things like we've got cubby. Cubby is kind of a funny shaped thing. We also have cast cage. Cast cage has difficulty going different places. And we also have key ring and keyhole. Hard to show those. They're such moving pieces, but those are all kept in there. So then, going from there, we pull. And I should say additionally, several of these boxes, puzzle boxes, have other puzzles inside of them. There's a box in here that has cast violin, for instance. The Viking box, which was over here, has a couple Hanayama puzzles. And one of the things I like about these puzzle boxes is you can keep things in them like other puzzles. So it really enhances or increases the capacity of this piece of furniture. I think right now it can hold upwards of 40 puzzles, and with room for more. So that gives me a lot of growth potential with my collection. So once this puzzle box up here has been removed, then we reach around, there's a string. We pull the string out, and we have a secret box, or a secret drawer. In fact, it's the only secret drawer in this piece, which was originally designed to have more than that. There also is my nameplate. It shows when I made it and that sort of thing. Now, when I originally built the box, the secret drawer was supposed to be the end of the puzzle. And in fact, there was supposed to be a painting on the underside, but there was still one space in the piece that I hadn't used, and I don't like to waste space when I make stuff, so that's what we'll look at next. In order to get to the final compartment, we go back to the knob that we put in just a little bit ago. And there's actually, on the other side, where the secret drawer was, there's a rod. So we pull the rod while holding the knob. There we go. And a panel presents itself. Behind it is the last secret compartment that has puzzle boxes, a Hanayama puzzle, just anything that I don't need to get to right away because of the whole sequence it takes to get to it. Also, we have the final painting. The final painting is a windmill from a larger landscape by Matthew Palmer in his book, Watercolor for the Absolute Beginner. This painting was actually the first one I did of the four. Wanted to see how it would turn out and liked what I saw, so I decided to incorporate that windmill or a variation of it into each of the other paintings, the Bob Ross, the Frank Clark, and the James Gurney style. And so from that I would be able to, the person doing the sequence would see that, hey, there's a windmill and I'm getting closer to it. And when they see the final windmill, hey, this is the end. And so that's how I decided to do it. And that is my Sequential Discovery Apothecary puzzle cabinet. I hope you enjoyed it.